All right. So today I'm going to talk about a very hard interview problem. So this kind of problem is generally asked for like senior data scientists at top tech companies. I have also faced this problem in one of those interview questions during one of those screening interviews. So I would like to share, how should we approach this? So the problem goes something like this: find out how many customers are new, retained, churned, and resurrected every week. So this is a pretty common growth analysis problem, and we have to given a table, we'll be given a table like something like this: a customer ID and the event action date and the action type that they had, and how many actions they took on the day for each customer. And from this table you have to count, you have to figure out for each date how many customers are new, how many customers are retained, churned, and resurrected. And the definitions are: new meaning like the first time user of the product; resurrected means they used the product last week but not in the current week. Since we're doing it weekly, it can be as monthly, it can be your quarterly or yearly, I don't know. And then churned is like they used the product last week and but not the current week. And the resurrected means they used the product sometimes in the past but not last week, but they use the product in the current week. For example, they used the product in November but they didn't use the product in December, but they're using the product in January. That kind of a customer is a resurrected customer. So where do we start? So we first start with the CTE, as we're going to get the customers and the actions and the action date. So we can just say actions as select distinct customer ID and event date. So that's the first step. At least we have, because we're going to work with only the whether they are not active or not, meaning like they have an action or not on a given date. So that's the first step. So once we have that, then what we need is also a first usage date, because we need to figure out the first time user. So first usage CTE, which is going to be the first time user of the product. So first customer ID, and then minimum of event date is first DS from test data dot to dot usage, group by one. So now you have the first day. So now you can tell who is a new customer, but then we'll have to figure out what is the retained. So retained meaning like we need two columns, which is the last week and the current week. So we need something like the current week column, and we need a last week column. So many of us can use a lag function to actually do it, but then if you use a lag function, there will be like you'll have problems in kind of figuring out churn, which is like the product was used last week but not current week. So so your current week is null, but last week is not null. So in that case, like the lag function kind of it doesn't work, or you'll have to use a combination of lag and lead, where you'll have to use both of the function to figure out whether it is retained or churned using lag lead. But it gets a little bit complex. A simpler solution is using a full outer join. A full outer join is basically is going to give everything in this week, everything in table A versus and everything in table B. So the question is, how do we use that? So we're gonna say like for each customer, give everything this week and the past week, irrespective of so basically irrespective of their they have an action or not in the current week or last week. So basically, but first, in order to get this executed, we need to first use this two table and convert them into week because we're talking about week. And we need to combine these two tables because I want to pull the first date column in the actions. So we can do that as we can call it as analyst CTE customer actions as select c dot customer ID c dot event date comma week as event week. So I'm going to use a date trunc function. It's an inbuilt function which basically pulls the date, pulls a date part from a date expression, and then we can say f dot first ds week as first week and from yes actions and join on first usage. Boom, join first usage. This is gonna be C and this is gonna be F. So C dot customer ID and F dot customer ID. So now you have a table with at a weekly granularity. So let's see. Hope it runs. It doesn't run. Great. First usage. What is it? First usage must be qualified. Okay. This is test2.usage. Test2.usage. Okay, it works. So we have for a given customer, we have an event week, and then the first week it use the product. All right. So now we will join it with itself because we want the current week, and we want the full outer join on the next week. So basically on the previous week, right? So for a given customer. So let's just do for one customer. One customer, that is c dot customer ID equal to, let's just take one example. So and then join it on c dot customer ID and p dot customer ID. Because it will have multiple weeks, we'll have to join on event week also. So event week, and now I join on event week. So this is going to give you, it's a self join on all the same rows and all the same cables. So event week is equal to event week. We are seeing like event week, we are event week, but we don't want this. We want to shift this one by 7 days. So I want 627 over here, and the previous week should be 620. To do that, I can just add a 7 over here, meaning like this expression is gonna like join the self table on the event week, but only where it's basically joining 620 plus 7 becomes 627. Then it joins with the 627. So this row is going to be 620 instead of 627. So there we go. So the event week is 627, and it is joining with the previous as 620. So now we have shifted one row. So this is helpful because now we know what happened in the previous week. So everything is a previous 7 days. So it's lagged by 7 days. So it's the equivalent of a lag function. So we have all this. That's well and good. Now we see that customer was active till like 7:11, and then it kind of like churned, or like it didn't have any further data. So the last was like 7:11, and then it was somehow like gone. So if you want to see that, or p dot customer id equal to, so p dot customer id previous customer id. Okay, so this is going to give you the full table. So it just shows for each. Okay, there's a limit probably. Yeah, that's why. Limit. You need to remove the limit. Okay, there is. So basically, what I'm trying to show is like for event week that is null. So the current week becomes null, and then there is a previous week where there is an action. So this is basically it basically churned this week. So that week it is a churned week because the current week is null according to this definition. Churned is like the last week they use the product but not the current week. So the last week they use the product but not the current week. So so and then over here this is like for example I will not put any limit and just get the full data. There must be some cases where it is retained. So this is a retained case. This is use the product this current week and the last week, so we can label it as retained. This one is like current, they have used it on 620 but it has not used before, and this is also not the first week, so it is a case of resurrected. So we have seen the resurrected, retained, and we will see a case of new, which is a new means the current week and the first week is the same. So the current week and the first week is the same. There's a new customer. So if we have to code it up, we will say case when. So sometimes the first week is also like it's kind of like is it either over here or over here? So we can do a qualis function, which basically takes either from the first table or the second table, C or P first week, and then we're gonna say if it is equal to the current week, then it's a new customer. So, and then we're gonna say if c dot event week is null, and p dot event week, which is the previous week, is not null, then it is churned. So churned customer. Then when we say event week, when the current week is not null and previous event week is not null, then we can say it is retained. And then we have only one more case, which is resurrected. Now the resurrected customer is like real tricky because this is a case of resurrection. This is a case of where the previous week is null and the current week is not null. You cannot say this is resurrected because the current week is equal to the first week, so it's a new customer. So but a case of resurrection would look something like this, which is not here, which means it has never been resurrected. Okay, it has never been resurrected. So this is not a good example. So basically, I'm going to say that the first week is not the current week. And current event week is not null, but the previous event week is null. Then it is resurrected. And then end as label. But the challenge is, I don't know, what's the spelling of resurrected? I don't know. I forgot how to spell resurrected. Resurrected. There's only one S, yeah. So another challenge is, like, sometimes there's customer ID is present in only one. So we need to create a qualis function with the columns that is, like, either the current week where if the current week is null, then we get the previous week. So this is the first week, which is like null, then we get the next week, event week of the next. And if the current week is not null, then we just keep this. We just take the current week. So this is only going to be helpful when there is a churned week, because over here the current week is null. But in general, your current week is your main date stamp. So c.event week is the current week, and if it is null, then we will fall back to the previous week as event week. So the order matters. So this is week stamp. Okay, so what we have now is pretty good understanding of how the labeling of the bucketing of customers work for every week. So there's a week stamp, so there's like 510. So event week is null, but the previous week we have data, so churn next week. So because the current week is null, so we are saying that on 5/30, like, it churned the next week. 8/15 did churn the next week. Resurrected is, like, over here is again what we talked about. So anyways, I hope this is easy to understand. I know it's a little bit complex, but I hope this makes sense. So now all we got to do is just to aggregate the entire data by the group, by the week and the label, and then count the customer in each group for each week. So this is for one customer. We're just counting, like, obviously it should be one. So first, this is the week of the 5/30. So there's a new customer on that week, and they churn the next week. They show up again on 6/20, and it is resurrected. So correctly labels 6/27. It is retained the next week. So it retained the next week. I don't think it's correct labeling. It's just retained because it was retained previously. So it's just basically retained, and then finally on 8/15, so it was retained from the previous week. So it retained actually from previous week, and the churn the next week. So because p.week is not null and qc is not null, so it's retained from previous. So that's how it should look like. And all you got to do is right now we just remove this, and your query is ready. So it's not a straightforward SQL. It's a little bit complex SQL, but when they ask in interview, they'll give you plenty of hint. But if you understand the overall concept of how this case statement and how this self-join works, most importantly, then I think the rest of it you'll be able to figure out in the interview. I hope this was helpful. If you have thoughts and comments or any portion that you didn't understand, please leave a comment and I'll try to answer it. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Thank you. See you later.